To those who would test our resolve or threaten the United States, our allies, or our interests, understand clearly we can reach you, we can sustain the fight, and we can scale the fight.
And then the president said, it's about to get even less safe. He said, quote, "We haven't even started hitting them hard. The big wave hasn't even happened. The big one is coming."
Again, I'm not going to give away the details of our tactical efforts, but the hardest hits are yet to come from the U.S. military. The next phase will be even more punishing on Iran than it is right now.
You're fine? Really? You need something to help you? No problem, you're safe. You're safe, you're safe. Everything good? No problem. Thank you for helping us. Everything perfect?
Sure, like myself, many of you are looking for updates on new strikes in Iran and other places, how our military is doing. You saw that clip in the intro of one of our U.S. pilots shot down, and she's fine. They're taking care of her. Praying for safety. We want all of this to finally end. The removal of evil that has been embedded for centuries in all of these countries is not going to happen overnight. You got to think about all that we've learned in the past decade. Now think about just this past year alone. Doge, SNAP benefits, Somalis, Muslim mosques, USAID stealing all of our money, our work for the world's comfort. And now we're watching countries receive freedom from terrorist dictators. Makes you wonder what's next. We have updates from President Trump, Pete Hegseth, Melania Trump, and also released testimonies of the Clintons today. We have 500,000 plus followers on Rumble. Thank you for that and hitting the like button. Hitting that like button helps us get to the top of the leaderboard. Almost every day we're either number 2, number 3. You guys actually helped us get above Steve Crowder the other day, and we're real excited about that. Next to Dan Bongino for sure. And we'll show you some pictures of Patriots wearing their gear later on in this video. President Trump said if I didn't terminate Obama's horrendous Iran nuclear deal, Iran would have had a nuclear weapon 3 years ago. That was the most dangerous transaction we have ever entered into. And had it been allowed to stand, the world would be an entirely different place right now. You can blame Barack Hussein Obama and sleepy Joe Biden. Thank you, President Trump. And these comms that stem from these type of drops are pretty strong. I want to show you that here in a moment. Right here, I wanted to give this update. The U.S. continuing their strikes.
Take a look at this new video shared by U.S. CENTCOM. You can see the U.S. is destroying Iran's ballistic missiles so far, hitting 1,250 targets. And President Trump says the most punishing blows have yet to come. And more help is coming too, Sean. The U.S. is deploying more troops to the Middle East and more air assets, as the number of killed U.S. troops now stands at 6. U.S. Central Command shared this video as well of an Iranian ship being absolutely obliterated. The U.S. has sunk 11 Iranian ships. Defense officials tell Fox Iran only has small boats left, but still could mine the Strait of Hormuz. Iran says it's closed. The U.S. says it isn't. Meanwhile, 3 American fighter jets got shot down accidentally by Kuwaiti air defense today. All 6 American pilots are okay. The incident is under investigation. Iran also continues firing on American bases all across the region. The smoke you see here, though, Sean, is rising from the U.S. Embassy in Kuwait today. Also, tonight, the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia got hit by 2 Iranian Shahed drones. Thankfully, nobody was injured, as Iran not only targets civilian infrastructure, but now also oil and gas infrastructure. Sean, we'll send it back to you.
Yeah, good updates there. And also, Ultra Magadine Erickson showed us this clip. Defections are starting within the Iranian army. They're posting these videos now like this. They said the army's duty is to protect people's sacred values and defending the nation. And this is a guy with a mask on. He doesn't want people to see who he is. But supposedly he's talking in Iran and he's in the military there. The current war is not against the Iranian nation. It's a war against the bloodthirsty Islamic regime. The army's duty. We, the soldiers of the National Army, have joined the national movement. We ask others to also join this national movement. May my life be sacrificed for Iran, is what he says. And then he burns Khomeini's picture. I was wondering why he was holding it. Then he burns it. So that reminds us of the drop 1604 on the cue board. At some point, military generals will act with the will of the people simply because their soldiers are those same people and have no choice. And that's regarding the first line, we stand with the good people of Iran who are currently battling their installed regime for freedom. President Trump was giving medals of honor, and before he started, he wanted to give an update.
I had a brief update on Operation Epic Fury. Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime. Following our obliteration of Iran's nuclear program in Operation Midnight Hammer a short while ago, we warned Iran not to make any attempt to rebuild at a different location because they were unable to use the ones that we so powerfully blew up. But they ignored those warnings and refused to cease their pursuit of nuclear weapons. In addition, the regime's conventional ballistic missile program was growing rapidly and dramatically, and this posed a very clear, colossal threat to America and our forces stationed overseas. The regime already had missiles capable of hitting Europe and our bases, both local and overseas, and would soon have had missiles capable of reaching our beautiful America. The purpose of this fast-growing missile program was to shield their nuclear weapon development and make it extraordinarily difficult for anyone to stop them from making these highly forbidden by us nuclear weapons. We were the ones that were complaining. We were the ones that wanted it stopped, but everybody was behind us. They just didn't have the courage to say so. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat to the Middle East, but also to the American people. Our country itself would be under threat, and it was very nearly under threat.
Those updates are pretty sombering, to say the least. And I showed you this video in the intro where the young pilot was shot down and a man went over and thanked her for what she was doing. And here's the full video of that, of her plane falling apart after getting hit. She ejected. And she's safe. Reminded me of the March 3rd post. Today being March 3rd, we were told in 2019, full-scale attack, March Madness, prepare. March Madness incoming. And I know they said that a lot of this was friendly fire when these aircraft were shot down. And so we'll get more information on that as it pours in. We're just glad prayers are being answered and that she is doing safe, that pilot. I really like General Dan Raisin Kane and his message that he gives to the enemies of America. And I played a little bit of it in the beginning. Let's continue.
To those who would test our resolve or threaten the United States, our allies, or our interests, understand clearly We can reach you, we can sustain the fight, and we can scale the fight, and we will prevail. To the American people, your joint force remains steady, frosty, calm, and focused. Your service members are trained, disciplined, and determined. We understand the risks of this mission and the weight of the responsibility that we carry. We also recognize that our families also shoulder the burden at home. You are a part of this too. I am proud today, as I am every day, to stand as a member of America's Joint Force. There is no mission too complex, no distance too great, and no adversary too determined for the men and women who wear our nation's uniform. We mourn our fallen, we honor their families, and we continue our mission with focus, unity, and strength. And now I'm happy to take any questions.
So glad that President Trump brought him back in. It's nothing like him. Spain has ordered the U.S. tanker aircraft to leave its Moron and Rota bases after Madrid, Spain rejected allowing support for the military strikes against Iran. That's from Reuters. Awaken Outlaw said, well, that should provide cause to end the $300 million we give to Spain annually for some reason I can't explain. And the move gives Trump a good reason to raise tariffs on them. You either are a partner or you aren't. And the socialists who have seized control of the country are apparently insistent on learning lessons that they only learn the hard way. I've got some great updates from those out of Iran and what they've been doing to help wake people up. And also we go to The View, where it looks like Elizabeth Hasselbeck was brought back to say a few things to the witches of Eastwick. Stand by. Folks, many of us want our furry best friends to thrive. At ltpetclub247.com are all natural, USA-made supplements and treats packed with immune-boosting Coriolis versicolor mushrooms. Shed antler power, transform your pet's health. And guess what? They're so pure, they're great for humans too.
Have been suffering from ulcerative colitis my whole life. I started dosing it very, very hard, like 4 60-milligram tablets 4 times a day. To make a long story short, within about 3 weeks, I stopped bleeding.
From biscuits supporting bones, joints, and organs to mushroom blends for wellness, we've got pets and people covered. Plus, we donate profits to animal rescues like the Beagle Freedom Project. Shop affordable, natural solutions. Head to ltpetclub247.com now for vitality for you and your pet. LT Pet Club 247, health for all, 24/7. Get yours in the description box below today.
The emotional state of the Iranians right now, I don't think will ever understand, because the depth of it is wild. Do you understand that there's so many of us that haven't been able to visit our country in 30 to 40 years? Do you know how many people haven't seen their family members in that long? Do you know how many people go to Dubai and Turkey just to stand across the way and see their country from afar and cry knowing that they can't go there? Do you understand how many people are going to be on that plane ride together crying their eyes out knowing they're finally flying over their soil? Do you understand how many people are going to get to that country, bend down and kiss their soil again? Do you understand how emotional this is? Do you understand how it feels to see our mom and dads finally seeing their country getting free again? You guys, pack your bags. We're going home.
We're going home. Pretty exciting. You know, I worked with the guy in government service when I was stationed in Wiesbaden, Germany, after getting out of the Marine Corps and working for the Army. And he was a government service civilian from Iran. He took me to a Persian restaurant, and man, it just treated me like family. It was absolutely wonderful. They knew I was, my background, and I love the Word of God too, and just family. Just wonderful. Anyway, let me show you this here.
How can your country be a ruin like that right now? I tell them we picked our Mamdani, not me. A lot of people. picked their Mamdani 47 years ago.
So she's basically saying that the people in Iran picked their Mamdani. And she's comparing Mamdani to what was happening in Iran before Khomeini took over.
In Iran, which was Khomeini at that time. If you watch if you just listen to what Mamdani said in New York, it's verbatim what Khomeini said 47 years ago in the Islamist lefty committee at that time. And people got fooled because it was at the end of 70s and they just wanted to be hippies and free, and that's how it looked like at that time for Iran. So they picked their Khomeini that was supposed to just come and help people have free everything and give the oil money to
how could you say no to free everything?
Free all of that. And you watch what he says. You listen to Mamdani. Trashes are 7 feet high in New York. He just became mayor, but his priorities are to Prophet Muhammad, to Hijrah. He brought Medina, all of these 1400 years ago. What happened with their prophet? He just brought it to New York. That terrifies me.
Terrifies her. Interviews are being done, and you can tell the passion of the people from Iran. They know, they feel, they understand exactly what corruption is playing out in the United States of America, and they're warning folks, stay away from it. And again, like I said earlier, Elizabeth Hasselbeck was on The View. I'm going to show you real quick. Ripcord caught this. Elizabeth Hasselbeck made the much-needed return visit to The View. Her being on the panel is the next best thing to the show itself being canceled. And besides the fact that she schooled all of the panel on Trump and Iran, she also sported her finest white hat T-shirt. See that? She's wearing a white hat T-shirt. Here we go.
I look at Donald Trump and I look at Netanyahu and I see two leaders who I think politically they benefit from war. Netanyahu is facing criminal charges for corruption back home. Donald Trump is facing very low numbers and Epstein files that are not, and we will not let go away.
I do think it's threefold. One, we've
got Elizabeth Hasselbeck. Here we go.
47 million Iranian women who now have a hope of freedom. That's a good thing. Okay, we have an disgusting terrorist regime ended, and the people finally have hope to create their own nation again. Okay, so that's the hope. When we zoom out in geopolitical realm, okay, which is not my specialty either, but I have a ton of friends in the military who specialize in this. We see that this is actually avoiding a boots on the ground war with China when we are able to choke their oil supply, and the president and our military are exemplary in doing so right now. They've cut the oil supply from Venezuela, and they've now reduced it and choked the oil supply to China in Iran. And now what that does is presumably prevent China from having an absolute stronghold on the globe. So this is a strategic move geopolitically that we may not fully understand, but I absolutely trust that this is best for our nation, and we should be America first.
Very good. I was looking at her shirt. Let me go back to that. And that's, if you notice, it's kind of an iron-on. That's what it looks like to me. Like those kind where you print it out real fast on those printers and then you run it to the T-shirt and you just iron it on real fast. You don't see, I don't know, I've never seen a cowboy hat just plastered on like that in a rectangle like shape picture. So it makes me even more excited on that end. All right. Other things that Ultra Magadine Erickson caught. President Trump uses his burner account. If you guys know what that means, Il Donaldo Trumpo, many believe. And President Trump even stated that that's him, where he posts the way he really wants to talk, using a huge comm regarding regime change in Iran. And it says, back to the good old days. And Il Donato Trumpo says, slow down, Rez, with the emojis with the laughing and tears coming out. What's interesting is Il Donato Trumpo posted this at 3:58 p.m. That's 15:58 military time. Okay. Now, why is that perfect? Because 15:58 says free Iran, fight, 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 regime change, people have the power, we stand with you. Q. So that's Reza Pahlavi, the exiled son, the last Shah, if Iran, saying, "What's up? Your king is back." What a timestamp. What a connection. And I also liked what Rubio did to the media.
Number one is, no matter what, ultimately this operation needed to happen. That's the question of why now. But this operation needed to happen because Iran in about a year or a year and a half would cross the line of immunity, meaning they would have so many short-range missiles, so many drones, that no one could do anything about it because they could hold the whole world hostage. Look at the damage they're doing now. And this is a weakened Iran. Imagine a year from now. So that had to happen. Obviously, we were aware of Israeli intentions and understood what that would mean for us, and we had to be prepared to act as a result of it. But this had to happen no matter what.
It had to happen, no matter what. And, of course, he demolishes the hopes of the scumbags left over from the Ayatollah regime.
How long is this? I can only do one more. Right there in the middle. Yes, sir.
Is there a diplomatic exchange going on right now between the U.S. and Iran? Any exchanges whatsoever outside?
No, not at this time. I mean, look, we always have people that reach out from inside of governments. You don't know if they're authorized to reach out or not. They're suffering a tremendous amount of damage. Honestly, again, I'm not going to give away the details of our tactical efforts, but the hardest hits are yet to come from the U.S. military. The next phase will be even more punishing on Iran than it is right now. Someone was screaming, how long will it take? I don't know how long it'll take. We have objectives. We will do this as long as it takes to achieve those objectives, and we will achieve those objectives. The world will be a safer place when we're done with this operation.
Oh, he says he hadn't seen anything yet, basically, in a nutshell. But what have we seen? We watched the head of the military, the head of intelligence, the head of Security Council, defense minister, chief of staff of the military, and the commander. They're all gone. Listen to this update.
Told to the White House that 48 leading leaders in Iran have been eliminated. On our image behind us, we have 9 of those, but they are significant. Head of the Military Bureau, head of intelligence, chief of staff of the armed forces, the IRGC commander, the head of Security Council, the Iranian Council there, defense minister in Iran, and of course the Ayatollah, supreme leader of Iran. Only 2 leaders have ever existed in the history of the Islamic Republic of Iran. This was the second after 37 years. He has now been eliminated. Over here, the reported U.S. and Israeli strikes in Iran. In green, you can see the reported airstrikes thus far. In white, the reports of explosions that we have seen actual footage, video footage of. Then in yellow are the confirmed airstrikes as well. Look at the green.
You guys know what's really interesting about this update? He says it's what we received so far. Their updates that they're receiving. Who's providing them updates? Well, it's got to be the public affairs, military public affairs, right? That's what I was in. And I find it very interesting that the media used to be embedded with all of these folks during these attacks and more and little headquarters and get their updates out, and they'd tell them all the information that they had and where the next strikes are going to hit. And remember that? Now remember the media was kicked out of the Pentagon too? Well, they're not getting their information and leaking it anymore. We're waiting for whatever information is provided by the military public affairs guys out to the media so the media can give us the report. Oh, wow. Oh, don't you just love how this all comes together? I also love our merch. Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men shirts. Matthew 4:19. We've got the new And We Know gear for you. And here's some great pictures of Patriots wearing their gear. And I just ask you, if you go to andweknow.com, you can actually click on contact, hit that contact button and send us a picture. And folks, when we air this, you'll just be excited because more and more folks are getting their information out in this way.
I just got off the phone with the president. He is very pleased with how things are going. Obviously, is disheartened about the loss of life, and there may be more, he said, along the way. But as far as the progress, he said they are ahead of where they thought they would be. I want to read some of these quotes that I that I asked him and how he answered. He said that as far as a plan, they do have a plan, always had a plan. The intelligence, the level of intelligence that they've had up until this point is truly amazing. I asked, so what you're saying is that you know there is somebody on the ground in Iran that is going to rise up. Quote, yeah, I feel there is. I feel that, and some of them are no longer with us, to be honest, because it was 49 leaders that were taken out. That was going to take 4 weeks, we thought, to get rid of the Iranian leadership. And it's always, you know, if they hide, it's a lot longer than 4 weeks. And they would have been hiding. We were shocked when we heard what was going on. We knew exactly what was happening and where. 49 leaders. And, you know, they're talking about using people now that nobody ever heard of, even though they don't know. They're using people, studying people to be the leader that even they don't know who they are. Can you believe that? I said, it's a tough succession plan in Iran. He said 49 leaders is deep. It's very deep. When they met for breakfast. They assumed it was good for a lot of reasons. Number one, they didn't think we knew, but you never attack in the morning, having to do with winds and sun and a lot of things. It was amazing that we knew everything we knew. He said there is a plan. He points to Venezuela as a template, which means to me that going in, they had some sense on the ground of what was coming next. As far as the military operation, he said there is no greater military in the U.S., and he was praising General Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, for the news conference that he just watched. Cut and dry, as he said, central casting, and they have a job to do, and they're
central casting,
getting it done.
Wow.
So from the President of the United States, he is pleased, does believe that this is going faster than they thought, and he believes that 4 weeks is something that they had put as a kind of calendar of what they were looking at.
4 weeks. I don't know, 30 days, done in 30. He also said something interesting, Brett Barr. Central casting. Just had to get that word out. Picking a new regime. Got to get the right actors in there to make sure they play their roles right. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? So, Ida Tehran wanted folks to say, see this. She wanted you to listen also. Listen to the spirit of the Iranians under bombardment. No translation needed. You'll get the vibe.
این تقریبا میدون دانشجوه.
As each bomb hits Tehran, they get super excited. Another one. You can hear the people in the background too, all celebrating, watching their freedom happen right before their very eyes. Kind of reminds me, we were talking about the rockets' red glare, bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. I know it's not America, it's still just makes me think of that, what they must have been witnessing at that time. We were getting our freedom. Wanted to show you also why Iranians burn mosques.
The reason Iranian protesters burning mosques isn't exactly what most Westerners think it is. It is not pure hatred. We are not Palestinians. There is a concrete, practical reason behind it, and there is a very important lesson in it for you too. So watch this video till the end. Those mosques are not places of worship. Those are bases for the regime's militias besieged in residential neighborhoods. Mosques serve as operating bases, headquarters of repression. They house armories, and they are temporary detention centers for arrested protesters. Burning those mosques is the first smart, brave move by protesters to neutralize the regime's oppression forces on the ground. Now pay close attention to what is happening in your own countries in the West. In Iran, for decades, mosques have been recruitment centers used to brainwash, radicalize, and turn angry, confused, or mentally ill people into hate-filled killing machines, ready to be deployed against their own people whenever the regime needs them. 5 decades of patient preparation and indoctrination are paying off right now. The exact same quiet, patient building of parallel power structure is happening in your cities too, in mosques and community centers, right under your noses, by the Muslim Brotherhood and the whole pro-Palestine network. And if you object or point it out, they immediately dismiss you by crying Islamophobia and claiming it is just hatred for Islam. They know exactly what they are doing. Don't buy their lies. Iranians never had a problem with mosques as genuine places of worship. Look at these pictures, Shah at the Imam Reza Shrine or in Mecca performing Hajj. So no, Iranians only turned away from Islam when it started being weaponized against them to gain and hold power. Don't lose your safety and freedom to their lies. Nullify them before it's too late.
Nullify them before it's too late, building these mosques as their military basically bases and brainwashing centers. And I show you that, and I was going to put this out later, but I might as well go there now to Texas. And you might remind us the Christians are fighting back. Christian heroes are rising up. Against what? There's the designated terrorist organization sending paid lobbyists to Texas State Board of Education. They want to change everything when it comes to Muslims and the thought there in Texas. Brandon Hall, Republican Brandon Hall, Republican Texas State Board of Education warrior, District 11, pastor and 7th grade generation North Texan, delivered a masterclass in raw, unapologetic resistance.
Chairman, what's your point of order? CARE's stated goal is to push Sharia law in the state of Texas, and now they're here to do it in our schools. And for that reason, Governor Abbott designated CARE as a foreign terrorist organization. Can we have the leader of a foreign terrorist organization testify for the State Board of Education?
As we've talked about twice before, the testifiers here today have a First Amendment right to testify in front of this body.
Can I ask another question, sir?
Sure.
If she is here signed up
Sorry, let me continue.
to this organization or formal contact with them in 2008, and the governor's proclamation states they can't even own property in the state of Texas. So
right.
I understand the individual right to the First Amendment, but does that also apply if they're here on behalf of an organization?
So I've consulted with legal, and the answer is yes, they can testify. They have the First Amendment right in this context of public hearing, in so much as we do not go into vulgar content and things of that nature. And if we do, then we'll readdress it then. But hopefully, for all testimony today, we will not go there.
Okay, I won't listen to them push Sharia in our schools.
Brilliant.
Good morning. My name is Shaima Zayan. I'm the operations manager for the Council on American Islamic Relations, Austin chapter.
CAIR. Terrorists in our nation. Getting time to speak. I'm going to give you an update from this wonderful lady who spells out what they were demanding. They want changed in our history books and more. We're going to show you that and also get to the videos that were dropped, key parts of Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, the witch, in a moment. Have you been dealing with nagging pain, restless nights, constant stress, or just feeling drained? What if the solution was something as simple as wearing a watch? Introducing the new and improved WaveWatch 2.2, the world's first sound frequency therapy watch. This isn't just a timepiece, it's 166 powerful frequency sets, over 1,250 targeted frequencies designed to help your body restore balance naturally. Wear it on your wrist, pick a set for pain relief, deeper sleep, detox, energy boost, stress melt away, or even nerve support, and let gentle, safe sound waves do the work. No apps, no Bluetooth, just pure natural harmony. I use the watch for my back pain and also to regulate my sleep. My friend used it who had terrible knee pain affecting his bowling. Now he bowls pain-free. Another shared in less than a week improvements in liver, hip pain, nerve pain, and emotional balance. It's a blessing. Thousands are experiencing fast-acting wellness without chemicals or side effects. Right now, WaveWatch is giving And We Know fans a special deal. You get 15% off with code AUK. That's code AWK. That's a big savings on the WaveWatch 2.2. Don't wait. Supplies are limited and pre-orders are moving fast. Visit wavewatch.com/pages/AWK today. Use code AWK and take the first step toward feeling better naturally, because when we know better, we do better. Order now.
Howdy, Texas. So today we had the foreign terrorist organization testify before the Texas State Board of Education, again, the Council on American Islamic Relations, which Governor Abbott has designated as a foreign terrorist organization, which the FBI has said is the face of the Muslim Brotherhood, another terrorist organization. So today dealing with terrorists, they make demands. So I'm going to share with you the demand letter from Shema Zayan, Z-A-Y-A-N, who says that she is the operations manager for the Council of American Islamic Relations. Okay, so this is what they want. They want taught to students in Texas that 1/3 of all slaves in America were Muslim, and that they were enslaved because of their Muslim faith, and they were persecuted and killed during slavery because of their Muslim faith. So that's why they were enslaved. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. David Barton, if you're watching this, you are a great historical scholar. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're 1/3 of all slaves in America Muslim. I don't know. I've never seen evidence to that or thought about that. The other thing that they want is they want the Mayflower Compact not to be taught. Another thing that they want is they want Columbus, all references to Columbus and Columbus Day removed. Another thing they want is they want Thanksgiving removed. Specifically, they want the 1789 President George Washington proclamation about Thanksgiving and the Thanksgiving prayer, which is a National Archive document. This is a presidential proclamation. They want that removed. They don't want students from Texas learning about Thanksgiving or George Washington's Thanksgiving prayer. Another thing that they want is they want added that the Alamo was influenced by Islam. Did you know, according to them, I mean, this is so laughable. This is such a rewrite of history. Did you know that according to them that the design of the Alamo is specific to Islamic architecture, and that the people who built the Alamo were trying to honor Islam whenever they built the Alamo? I'm telling y'all, you can't make this up. You cannot make up this rewrite of history that they are wanting. Also, they are wanting to include several people who have written great works of fiction. I'm going to say it that way. It's a rewrite of American history and Texas history. So I'm going to say these great works of hubris and fiction to be included in teaching our children as facts about Muslim contributions to the founding of the United States of America and Muslim contributions to the founding of Texas. So y'all, I'm telling you, look, here it is. This is the 2-page demand list from this terrorist organization on what they want your children and what they want your grandchildren to be taught. And I'm telling you, they're going to hit this big, beautiful wall right here. This is going to be a hard no. This is a beautiful red, white, and blue wall that I get to honor. I have the honor of representing you, SBOE 7, and I promise you this terrorist organization is hitting this beautiful red, white, and blue wall. This is not acceptable. We're going to teach Christopher Columbus. We're going to teach the 10 Commandments. We're going to teach Thanksgiving. We're going to teach George Washington Thanksgiving prayer. We are certainly not going to teach that the Alamo was designed and built to honor Islam. So God bless y'all. Y'all keep praying. We're going to keep on winning, and God bless Texas.
God bless Texas. And you guys have something coming up here real soon, March 3rd, actually today. Go to the very end of your ballot in the Republican primary and vote yes to ban Sharia.
Well, there are 10 propositions that Republicans will vote on. The 10th, absolutely the last thing on your ballot, regardless of where you are, it will need you to go all the way down the ballot to ban Sharia in the state of Texas. Now, this is not binding. It's not a law, but it tells your elected officials in the state of Texas that you want to ban Sharia, that you want your U.S. Constitution to be the law of the land, that you want your individual freedoms. You want your daughters to be safe. You do not want to see the intimidation on the streets of Texas. This is vitally important for us to make our will known by going all the way down your ballot to proposition number 10 to ban Sharia in Texas.
That's Representative Keith Self, U.S. House of Representatives, Texas 3rd District. Wanted to show you, did I have this also ready? Yeah, just remember who tried to change everything about our country and try to turn it into Muslim. First, let me play this where he messed up and claimed that he was a Muslim. Here we go.
You're absolutely right that John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith, and you're absolutely right that has not come my Christian faith.
It's your Christian faith. You got to remind you. Not your Muslim faith. We got to remember that where he slipped up. Let's also remember this about him.
We are no longer a Christian nation. We do not consider ourselves a Christian nation. The United States has been enriched by Muslim Americans. Since our founding, American Muslims have enriched the United States. Islam has always been a part of America's story. There is a mosque in every state in our union, and over 1,200 mosques within our borders. Let there be no doubt, Islam is a part of America.
Yeah. How do they pull this off? Here's a reminder of what happened in Iran.
Two Iranian women, a lefty and a liberal, smiling proudly in 1979 as they celebrated their rival of the barbaric Ayatollah. They believed they were fighting for so-called justice or equality. They marched, they organized, and helped pave the way for a so-called revolution. But when the Islamists took power, it wasn't freedom that came, it was a noose. One of those women were executed and the other fled into exile in silence forever. This is a painful lesson from history. The leftists and liberals who thought they can work with extremists were the first to get purged once the Ayatollah consolidated power. The same voices that shouted liberation were the first to be labeled enemies of God. To the left and liberals of today, beware of the ideologies you excuse in the name of tolerance. Once tyranny rises, it devours its...
Never forget how this all plays out. Same games played by the enemy, same playbook. While all this was going on, they released the videos of, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. You'd think, there's nothing's going to happen to them. Well, folks, I've tried to tell many over and over again that I don't believe these are the Clintons. They're just part of central casting. But got to get the public to wake up so we don't go around telling everybody that and so they don't call us crazy. But this is what the public sees. Former President Bill Clinton twice said under oath that he has no information about Trump and Epstein.
I hate this, but because I don't believe I should inject anything. But I do not want to leave the impression, but since there was no follow-up question, the president never, this is 20-something years ago, never said anything to me to make me think he was involved in anything improper with regard to Epstein either. He just didn't. That's the truth. As I said earlier, the only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in the early 2000s. And I have no information that he did anything wrong. I just want it all out there. I want everybody to get it all out there and let everybody see where we are.
Wow. Who told him to say that? How come the lawyers didn't stop him? Who is this guy? Just want to let you know, President Trump's done nothing wrong. Oh, wow. And then he admits this one, big one.
She stated that President Clinton was her friend, not Epstein's friend. Is that accurate?
I'd say that it was accurate to say that I felt closer to her than to him.
He's talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. I was closer to Ghislaine Maxwell, her, rather than Epstein.
And for the record, why was that?
Because I had seen her more, and because she was very good friends with Evelyn Rothschild and his wife Lynn, whom I knew and was in regular touch with.
That's a big name to drop, the Rothschilds. I was very close to them. Who else dropped the Rothschilds' name recently in a video that was released to the public? You guys remember? A trick question. Oh, and then, they've released several. I think it was like, I don't know. I put the link in the description box below if you want to watch the whole thing, but I just picked out the parts that I thought were somewhat pertinent. Here's Hill Dog. Remember the actress, and I'm going to show you proof that this is an actress in a moment for those that are looking for it. The witch. Conspiracy theory.
In speeches and interviews, you described Pizzagate as a baseless conspiracy theory, alleging you and others ran a child sex trafficking ring from a Washington pizzeria basement. Have you reviewed any 2025-2026 Epstein files that were released that you believe reference or relate to those specific 2016 claims regarding the Podesta emails, Comet Ping Pong Pizza used as code possibly?
I'm sorry,
You're asking her about whether she's reviewed emails in the Epstein files, which relate to the wacky Pizzagate scam.
You could characterize it
He called it wacky.
however you want. I just would like to know if she's familiar with any of them.
So, excuse me, your question is about whether or not she has reviewed any emails in the Epstein release files about Pizzagate.
Correct.
Pizzagate was totally made up. It was an outrageous allegation that ended up hurting a number of people, that caused a deranged young man to show up with his assault rifle and shoot up a local pizzeria.
The one that we hired. The guy that we hired to go in there and pretend to shoot up a pizza place because he saw it on the internet. Remember that one bullet just happened to hit that one computer to take out all of our information proving that what we did to children.
I can't believe you're even referencing it. You should be...
There are connections to the language.
Well, the QAnon people believe there are. So.
Oh, QAnon. OG Anon 661 said, we helped bring down a millennia's old cabal of Satan worshiping, child murdering, sexual deviants who had successfully enslaved the human race. She remembered the Q people.
I don't know what QAnon people believe.
Have at it.
But you've accused certain parties, and I think even right now today, of promoting slow walking or information in ways that fuels conspiracies. In your view, did any Epstein-Maxwell related investigations or file handling pre or post 2019 contribute to or intersect with the spread of Pizzagate-style theories about Democrat figures?
Objection.
I have no way of answering. That is the most
speculation.
Ridiculously.
Have you or your representatives identified any Epstein file content that has been misinterpreted online to revive those claims? And what steps, if any, have you taken to clarify?
Again, object on the ground of
I think that this is all very reasonable.
Well, first of all, I don't follow the crazy conspiracy stories that are online. I regret that anybody does. I find it quite sad, but also disturbing that people would believe some of what is put forth, like Pizzagate. So I have taken no steps to review anything that might have any connection to something which I think is totally bogus.
So I get people to start looking it up. And then she's going to say, have at it. Had to use that QAnon. So it's great for this actress to point out things to get the public to go watch these videos and go, I'm going to start doing some research. And then the big one dropped.
Are you aware of any files that were on Anthony Weiner's laptop in a folder that was titled insurance, life insurance, with a zip file titled Frazzle?
This is way outside the
Chairman's
scope.
ruling.
This
Is
is
this
way
within the
outside the
scope? Is this within the scope, Mr.
If
Chairman?
the chairman rules that it's not within the scope,
Mr.
I have other
Chairman, based on
questions.
what you said in the public hearing, is this within the scope?
So now the lawyers had to stop her and make sure she didn't say the keyword. You ready? Check it out.
A zip file titled Frazzle.
The zip file titled Frazzle, and then she cut her off and started screaming because they don't want the public to hear that. They went off the record because what we're referring to is Frazzle drip. Now, I highly recommend that many of you don't really look that up, but I will explain it to you. Somebody actually talked about it, and I don't think children, if they're listening, should be hearing this if you don't know what it is. But somebody was there to look at the video from Hillary Clinton's frazzle drip, and I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to tell you this. Okay? They play cartoons, they show them to children, and they show you how they actually, see if I can find it. Yeah, I can't show it to you. But the cartoons are out there for the kids to see on the cartoon networks. What they do to these kids. And it has to do with their face. And if you really want to be disturbed, those that still listen to 80s music, there's a song called Eyes Without a Face. Guys know who sings that song? I believe that guy knew exactly what was going on and why he had such a demonic look about him in a lot of his music. So she was wearing that blue with that blue background. Well, that blue background, you notice, matches the National Human Traffic Hotline website. And you remember we were told on the cue board, the Clinton Foundation, 888-373-7888. Well, that went to the National Human Trafficking Hotline. Q was telling us that. And that blue background matches all the blue that you see there. Ripcord said Hillary's being asked about Pizzagate, human trafficking, frazzle drip. Reminds me of one of our favorite Q posts, the Clinton Foundation, with the phone number to National Human Trafficking. And she just happens to be wearing the blue with the blue background of the National Human Trafficking outline. Also, Anons on the Chans from back in the day will know that there is a plus equals, and it has a plus, a space, and another plus. Okay, so 3 pluses, space, 1 plus, space, 5 pluses equals, and a child. Is the stage set for a drop of HRC and a child? Rawvid 55. This is the frazzle drip tape Hillary was quizzed on. Note, we are so close to the 8-year delta, which means what? March 6th. So some people are guessing, are they going to release that on March 6th? Who knows? I wouldn't get my hopes up, but the choice to know will be yours in the end. And I'm telling you folks, if you knew exactly what they do to those children, it just makes me sick even thinking about it. I highly advise you don't research if you can't handle it, but this is who Hillary really is.
Typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
So I would like to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was...
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So I would like to take a break at this moment.
Yeah,
I'd like to have
I'm
a
done
conversation.
for now.
Go off the record. Go off the record.
What a roll. So of course, let me show you this. The real Hillary, March 2018, due to illness and hidden Kuru. Her ability and weight was out of control. Nothing is as it seems. Remember, she was falling down in India over and over again. And of course, not long after, she had tribunal and she was executed. Remember, Modi of India is one of the longtime Five Amigos, part of the good versus evil. She had doubles even when First Lady. Here are a few doubles since her execution, plus CGI and other graphic tools, old pics and articles, and etc. So there you go. There's a Hillary. You see one on the right, and you see a different one on the left. And then you see one on the left, and you see a little bit more of a thinner one on the right. Doesn't really match. And then you've got the one on the left, and then you got another actress on the right. This is when the real Hillary was taken away. The media said she was having a seizure. It was not. Look close. She was fighting to get in. She was resisting arrest. She knew it was coming. She planted her heels in the ground. And later, they brought out the double. They made the switch, remember? So she comes out. She's fighting it, and they had to shove her in. And then they brought out the double later on. Completely different person. Yep, and of course the media is all tied in together with the whole thing. So they never thought she would lose. Hillary Clinton, August the 17th, this reminder, they had a plan to destroy America in 16 years, 8 years of Obama admin and 8 years of HRC. What did Obama do? Installed the rogue ops, leaked classified intel, military assets. He cut funding to military command away from generals. He launched the good guy takedown. He had the Snowden open source PRISM key score. Target weakened conservative base. He opened the border, flooded the illegals. The D-wins were happening. The ISIS and MS-13 funded. He brought fear, targeting, and removal, domestic assets. He had blind eye North Korea, nuke build. He had the blind eye Iran fund and supply. Yeah. Rodham Clinton, old Hillary, was supposed to do what? World War III, death and weapons, real, war, fake and controlled, population growth control, pocket billions. Folks, we're going to be at war with North Korea and Russia. They would have been fighting everywhere. But remember, Q said there was a plan. If Trump didn't get in there, had a plan. Didn't have to use it. Eliminate final rogue ops within the government and the military. She was going to kill the economy, starve, need, and enslave. Open the borders, revise the Constitution. Ban the sale of firearms, Second Amendment removal. She was going to have the Supreme Court justices picked. Removal of the Electoral College. There was going to be a popular vote, so they'll never lose again. She was going to remove funding to the military, close the military installations worldwide, Germany first, destroyed the opposing mainstream media, other news outlets. We would have been censored. I wouldn't be talking now. Been pure evil, hell on earth, HRC victory. Perhaps someday people will understand they had a plan to conduct another mass extinction event. Take a look at the drops and more. While this is all happening, the United States and Russia have reportedly reached an agreement to fully remove sanctions. Makes you wonder why, how this is all playing out. Kind of reminds me of the money issues that we've been discussing, and also with precious metals. Remember, we had a video drop with Dr. Kirk Elliott Saturday, tariffs and silver up more than 30% in February. So everybody that says, oh no, silver went back down. Well, it went up 30% in February, folks. So if you jumped on board at the end of January and February 1st, you made 30% profit. I don't know if you're going to find that kind of profit anywhere else. But, you can give them a call, amweknow.com/gold. Reach out to Dr. Kirk Elliott and his team, and they'll actually pray with you also. It'll change your life. We jumped in, folks, at $20 an ounce with my IRA and my wife's IRA, and it's already up to the 90s. Oh, wow. A lot of folks are pretty happy right now. What else happened? Supreme Court. Good news.
Out of the nation's capital today, where the Supreme Court has ruled on California policy regarding the notification of parents surrounding their child's gender identity. Today's ruling overturns a state law which prevented schools from notifying parents if students change their pronouns or gender expression at school. This comes after some religious parents and educators challenged California school policies aimed at preventing schools from outing students to their families. California argued students have the right to privacy over their gender expression, especially if they fear rejection from their families.
How about that? Emergency vote. California can no longer hide kids' pronouns or gender identity changes from parents. That was a 6-3 emergency order yesterday from the Supreme Court. Also, Melania Trump stunned the world by becoming the first lady to preside over the Security Council at the United Nations. Wow. The council is called to order, she said, and she hit the gavel. Before I go into some of the things she said, Ultra Mag and Dean Erickson caught on to this. Just when you thought you'd seen it all, Melania Trump spoke at the United Nations Security Council in New York City, and the nameplate in front of her was President of the United States. Look at that. Right there. President, United States. And he happened to look around and he says, it made me think of QPost 833, which happens to be an 8-year delta on Tuesday, March 3rd. That's today. 8 years ago, we were told this. Reality is labeled as conspiracy. You're made to feel crazy. You're told to obey. You're sheep to them, pawns to be sacrificed. Remember, we are winning. Do not trust what you read. Mind warfare, up is down, left is right. Boom. Listen to this.
I shall now make a statement in my capacity as First Lady of the United States. First, my heartfelt condolences to the families who have lost their heroes, who sacrificed their lives for freedom. Their bravery and dedication will always be remembered. I extend my earnest wishes for a swift and smooth recovery to all those who have been injured. You are in my thoughts and prayers during these challenging times. The U.S. stands with all of the children throughout the world. I hope.
I wanted to say something about this. Odessa, 1776. Good job on this. Timing is everything. Now we have Queen Melania presiding over UN Security Council for such a time as this. Queen Esther. What do I mean by that? Well, she's reposting Susan Wood. Also, thank you for following us here. Iran equals Persia. You guys know it's Persia, right? Purim 2026 begins Monday night, March 2nd, yesterday. Continues through Tuesday, March 3rd, today, extending over Wednesday in Jerusalem. Esther is a Jewish queen of Persia in the Old Testament who saves her people from a genocide plotted by the king's advisor, Haman. Iran is prominently featured in the Bible, primarily under the name Persia, mentioned 29 times, and Elam. The festival of Purim commemorates the divinely orchestrated salvation of the Jewish people in the ancient Persian Empire from Haman's plot to destroy, kill, and annihilate all the Jews, young and old, infants and women, in a single day. It is celebrated with megillah readings, gifts of food, charity, feasting, and merriment. Purim marks the deliverance of the Jews from a royal death decree in the 5th BC. It is a festive holiday celebrated on the 14th day of the Hebrew month of Adar. In 2026, Easter Sunday falls on April 5th. The Easter season begins with Lent on Ash Wednesday, February 18th, concludes with the celebration of Pentecost on May 24th. Key dates include Palm Sunday, March 29th, Good Friday, April 3rd, and Easter Monday on April 6th. Let's continue with Melania.
My heartfelt condolences to the families who have lost their heroes, who sacrificed their lives for freedom. Their bravery and dedication will always be remembered. I extend my earnest wishes for a swift and smooth recovery to all those who have been injured. You are in my thoughts and prayers during these challenging times. The U.S. stands with all of the children throughout the world. I hope soon peace will be yours.
Peace will be yours. We stand with the children, and that's what this has all been about. I love they keep bringing up the children. Why? This is all about the trafficking of children, what they've done to children, the crimes against humanity, and how they have tortured them, traded them throughout this entire earth for years. And I think they're finally being taken out everywhere. President Trump Operation Epic Fury picture released by the White House. I used it in the thumbnail for today's video. Ultra Magadine Erickson, President Trump reposted this Operation Epic Fury with a picture of himself sitting in the war room with his poker face on. If you had to look at a timestamp of 1352, there are many Q posts that are posted with that timestamp, but one stands out. What makes this post so interesting is because tomorrow it will be a 7-year delta exactly. That's today. And when you read it, you'll know exactly why he has his poker face on. Q2936. Same timestamp hitting a 7-year delta. Tomorrow, that's today. At what stage in the game do you play the Trump card? With President Trump poker face in and everything going on in the world, it would appear the stage has been set by using Operation Epic Fury, and it could be time to play the Trump card. Wanted to play this also.
My people in Iran, I know you're struggling. I know you're fighting for freedom. I know it's a tough struggle. I want you guys to know we're praying for you, and we love you. Let me tell you one more thing. This might be the most important thing you'll ever hear. There is true freedom a freedom that no one can take from you in the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Don't ever forget that. If you remember one thing I say, remember that.
Remember that. UFC fighter. Letting folks know
a freedom that no
there's true freedom. Freedom in the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Many of these posts I love to see and play. Wish I could play them all, but this one touched me. And then we'll go to the Lord in prayer.
The people from Venezuela were set free. The people from Nigeria were set free. The people from Iran is set free. And the people is on the streets celebrating. The people is thanking to God. Thank you to United States. Thank you to President Donald Trump. The people is happy. The Hezbollah is gone. The Hamas is gone. Maduro is gone. And you there with your hate in your heart, looking for reasons to make Trump a villain when he's been the good guy.
He's been the good guy. And we know at what stage in the game do you play the trump card. I believe it's being played now.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you again, in awe of all that you've done, how you've put everything together in such perfection using imperfect people. You put leaders in key places after hearing the cries of the children, hearing the prayers of so many, begging for help. Something that was not talked about more than a decade ago is now being talked about across this earth. The evil that is destroying this earth day after day through media, through movies, through television, through powerful, deep, ugly entities that we're fighting against, that are after the innocence of our children. We ask that you would continue to give us the strength, even in the voting that's going on in Texas today, that Sharia would be banned, and even more so those that are calling for death to America, while they're in America, they'd be found and sent back to where they belong. We ask that you would continue to help wake up the masses to what's happening all around them. Those that are ignoring it, those that don't want to be a part of it, those on the left that are brainwashed, we lift them up to you even now. Please protect our great military, all that they're doing around this earth to destroy this evil, to destroy the foundations that were built for many decades, designed to destroy all of us. As they remove them, we ask for their protection. For the protection of President Trump, all of his family, also Pete Hegseth and many others on the front lines, the Iranian people, the women who are taking off their hijabs and posting it on social media. We just go on a long list of people that need your protection, and long list of people who need Christ. We bring this all before you in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen. Folks, thank you for tuning in today. We hope you have an amazing remainder of your week. We've got some more updates this week, I'm sure, that'll play out. And I'll be traveling again this weekend, so we'll see how much we can get out before then. For now, this is LT Semper Fi with Them We Know, signing out.
To those who would test our resolve or threaten the United States, our allies, or our interests, understand clearly we can reach you, we can sustain the fight, and we can scale the fight.
And then the president said, it's about to get even less safe. He said, quote, "We haven't even started hitting them hard. The big wave hasn't even happened. The big one is coming."
Again, I'm not going to give away the details of our tactical efforts, but the hardest hits are yet to come from the U.S. military. The next phase will be even more punishing on Iran than it is right now.
You're fine? Really? You need something to help you? No problem, you're safe. You're safe, you're safe. Everything good? No problem. Thank you for helping us. Everything perfect?